Welcome to the Picture Wrap, the podcast of which we're still coming up with a tagline for, but we're just talking about movies, entertainment, some show maybe, possibly, and art. I'm Howard, and joining me today, he cannot wait to talk about the ending of Killers of the Flower Moon. It's JJ from Silver Hour Film Club.
Hi y'all, thanks for having me, Howard. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for joining me today. We're recording this on January 4th at 11 p.m. So I really have to rush this out before the Golden Globes. But this episode we're going to talk about all the nominations of the Golden Globes, and this is kind of the first test, quote unquote, test episode that we're going to be doing, and we'll definitely have you back for more episodes. So diving into the Golden Globes on Saturday. Looking at the nominations. That's on Sunday, isn't it? Oh, is it?
The 7th?
Oh, I'm on set 7, so I have to get it out before 7.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I my brain is just kind of jumbled. But I'm just trying to get it out as soon as possible. Possibly, I want to get it out tomorrow, which will be the same day as our podcast for Silver Hour.
You want me to plug that right now, or?
Well, we can plug it later.
Yeah, plug it. Yeah, I should. We'll just plug it later.
Yeah, but I think it's just kind of funny that there's two episodes coming out at the same time. So, JJ, how caught up are you with the movies from this year?
I feel like there's still so much I haven't seen, but looking at these nominations, I've seen a pretty good chunk of them. My biggest area where I'm not really caught up would be the animated films, but I feel like I saw the winner, so I don't know if I should even watch a lot of the other ones.
Interesting.
But yeah, I feel like I'm in a pretty solid spot. Usually, I'm still catching up before the Oscars, but I was pretty surprised.
That's always good to hear. This year has been kind of crazy for, I think, you and I both. This is also the year that I realized that if I'm busy making movies and being on set all the time that I have for watching movies becomes so much less. So all the movies that I watched this year, 2023, it's not even half of what I watched the previous year. So I guess that's the reality I'm living in, and I'm just trying to catch up before the award season. So what did you think of the nominations as a whole? Just looking at the list.
Nothing that I'm too surprised about. Obviously, there are films I wish were here, but looking at them, I think these are pretty much the expected contenders for the Oscars, and nothing I was too shocked about. I feel like the Golden Globes usually just try to be inclusive to everybody. You can tell about some of the categories they added this year, just to get as many people as they can. So usually they cast a pretty wide net for their nominations. So it's hard to think of people who are snubbed. Yeah.
So is it like a thumbs up from you, or a thumbs down, or just a so-so nominations this year?
Pretty solid. Obviously, I wish they but this is inclusive to all award shows. I wish they included more genre pictures. But obviously, they just want to stick with what they known for. Obviously, they have musical comedy, but some action films, interesting, could have been cool. More horror films, but this is what I would have expected from the Golden Globes.
Right. I always feel like every time we get to the Golden Globe season and the award seasons in general, I just feel like, Golden Globes is almost like a parody of an award show where they have all these weird categories that just it doesn't quite make sense. But at the end of the day, who really gives a fuck about Golden Globes anyway?
But should I say that we've both had short films produced by the HFPA? So I want to say I love the HFPA, and and I totally respect their award show.
Right. Yeah, sorry. Let's strike that. I'm gonna cut that out. Cut that out. Yeah, strike that. What did you say? Thank you, HFPA, for sponsoring our movies. We're gonna thank you when we get the Oscars.
I will be watching the Golden Globes. When the Golden Globes are on, they're something I do watch. I was sad there was that one year where they just didn't air them on TV, which was so strange. But they did it last year, and that was fun. So I will be watching the ceremony this year as well.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I still watch them, even though a lot of the times I disagree with them, and I just feel like it's all propaganda and like political agenda in a lot of ways, especially with the Oscars. But we're talking about Golden Globe this year. It is kind of a stacked year. Leading nominations with Barbie with 9 nominations, Oppenheimer with 8, Killers of the Flower Moon 7, Poor Things also have 7. Past Lives with 5, Anatomy of a Fall, Maestro, and May December all have 4 nominations. Across the Spider-Verse with 3, and Mario Brothers with also 3 nominations. And
they have 3 nominations.
I know.
Oh yes, I see.
Kind of crazy. Yeah. Barbie kind of cheated it, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. So, Netflix actually led all the film distributors with 13 nominations this year, followed by Warner Brothers, which is really interesting because, the past couple of years, there's been some sort of pushback against, digital streaming, especially with Roma came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's when the controversy started with, Netflix movies shouldn't be eligible for these award shows. And now, most of these movies are from these streaming platforms, which I feel like is interesting. And also some of the best motion picture drama category also included a lot of non-English film, which wasn't a thing. Yeah, it wasn't a thing before.
Well, on your Netflix thing, I think it's kind of crazy that these days the streaming services are the best place for filmmakers to go to get large budgets. People on film Twitter complaining why did Martin Scorsese get $200 million from Apple TV to make his movie? It's because it's Martin Scorsese, and it's these are the people who are willing to give filmmakers money so they can get recognition from these award shows. So if there has been a positive to the streaming explosion of the past couple of years, it has been giving these filmmakers a platform to create these movies.
Yeah, I always feel like that kind of argument is just I feel like movies should be movies and cinema should be cinema. It doesn't really matter how you distribute your art, and because of these streaming platform, we get to see some of our best filmmakers working today to be able to get a budget and put out their art that talks about things that nobody else is talking about. So Killers of the Flower Moon this year was definitely a highlight of that. So let's just dive into the first category. We're going to go from bottom up. So the first one we're going to be talking about is the best original song category, which, I kind of mentioned it earlier that Barbie kind of just cheated. I don't know if they could do this. It's just what is happening here? So Addicted to Romance by Bruce Springsteen from the movie She Came to Me, which I haven't seen yet. I remember it coming out and the memes that came from it. Dance the Night in Barbie, I'm Just Ken in Barbie, Peaches, interesting, from the Super Mario Brothers movie, Road to Freedom, Peaches, Road to Freedom from Rustin, and What Was I Made For in Barbie. In this category, what do you get out of it? What's your pick?
So what's my pick, or what I think is going to win? Because I do have different choices. I think the Barbie getting multiple songs is so funny, but that happens. I think La La Land had multiple song nominations.
I don't remember.
So, yeah, it's been a minute, but it happens, and that's obviously a soundtrack, so they'll have a lot of original songs. The song I've listened to the most from these options has been "Dance the Night," the Dua Lipa song. That's an absolute banger. Not gonna lie, I've listened to that a lot. But I think what's gonna win is gonna be "What Was I Made For," Billie Eilish.
You think Billie's gonna win again?
Yeah, I think that they'll probably go for the more emotional song than the big hits. That's normally, I think, how award shows go, and I think that that works. I think that fits the bill.
I think it's really interesting because what do you think the difference is when it comes to this category between Oscars and the Golden Globes?
I don't think there is much of a difference. I think it's just whoever voters like.
I feel like these awards shows have been kind of leaning more and more towards the fan favorite instead of what's the actual best song in these categories. I hope that What Was I Made For could win. Because I do think it's probably the best song from the bunch, and it is also the one that has that's definitely going to the Oscars with I'm Just Ken. So I hope What Was I Made For is gonna win, but I think I'm Just Ken will win.
All right, you're going I'm Just Ken.
Yeah.
Are you writing these down?
Yeah, we should write this down. By the way, we are doing point system, so apparently, we are tracking our predictions, and then we're gonna record another episode after the award to see how much we score. So I guess
and the
I
winner
don't have
gets
to
$1
write
million.
it down. Yes, winner gets an Xbox and could possibly win $1 billion. You could.
And a Golden Globe. They actually would give us a Golden Globe.
Yeah. So I kind of don't want to write it now because when I type, it's super super loud. But when I listen back, I'll put note.
Okay, cool. I can always. Oh wait, yeah, you'll listen. I'll be like, I can just send you my picks again, but you'll just hear me say it.
Yeah, so send me your picks. That makes my job so much easier.
I might forget. I might change my votes. Okay, but we'll see.
True.
Okay, let's go.
That is true. I'll double check you. But so okay, no love for Peaches.
No, that's a fan. That's like a fan. Like, oh, we nominated it, yay! But they're not gonna. No way.
You never know. I'm Just Ken and Peaches are definitely the fan favorites. So I think they're like these three. What Was I Made For? I'm Just Ken and Peaches. They're definitely heading to the Oscars. So it's definitely one of these guys. So you're locking in. You're locking in for What Was I Made For?
Yeah, I'm locking in for Billie Eilish.
Okay, I'm locking in for I'm Just Ken. Moving on to the next category, Best Original Score category. This is kind of funny. Wait, actually, before we move on, I forgot to ask you, do you think there's any snub for the Best Original Song?
Not really a song guy. I don't know, like, what movies had original songs that didn't. Maybe it would have been nice to see some Spider-Verse in here. I think Spider-Verse, they definitely had some original songs on their soundtrack that could have taken a spot of one of the Barbie ones.
Probably.
Yeah, so I think that would be... and maybe some, like, a joke answer, but the Smiths from The Killer would have been funny to see a Smith song on there.
No, I was thinking about, you know what, like a cinematic masterpiece that came out in 2023 that everyone forgot about? The Little Mermaid.
Oh, right.
They had it like...
that came...
Did you watch it?
No, I have not seen The Little Mermaid.
Oh,
no.
shit. Okay. There's a song in it that came out. It's an original song with Aquafina and the crab person.
Oh, I think I saw clips of this on Twitter, though. I know what you're talking about.
It's I hated it. And when I was watching it in the theater, I just feel like, oh, they're really trying to sneak an original song in there to hopefully get something, probably. But seeing that the movie got nothing, it does put a smile on my face. Right, moving on to Best Score. This is also a pretty stacked category.
This is stacked. Yo, this is our category.
Pretty stacked. Yeah, for us who listen to scores on a daily basis.
Yeah.
This, like, I'm not gonna lie, Best Score is one of my favorite categories in all award show ever. So we got Daniel Pemberton finally getting a nomination for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Jerskin? How do you pronounce that?
Yeah, Jerskin.
Fendrix for Poor Things. Joe Hisaishi for The Boy and the Heron. Ludwig Göransson for Oppenheimer. Mika Levy for The Zone of Interest, and Robbie Robertson for Killers of the Flower Moon. Before we talk about our favorites and our predictions, I just kind of want to give a couple shout outs, maybe quote unquote snubs. I feel like Dial of Destiny is a little bit underrated. I don't know if it qualifies for this category.
I think it would. I feel like he's been nominated before for like the later Star Wars films, so I think a later Indiana Jones film would have been
I would appreciate
eligible.
Right. Yeah, I would I would appreciate a little nod to Dial of Destiny, our boy John J.W. And How to Blow Up a Pipeline, I thought has a great score to it. Godzilla Minus One, also incredible piece of score. And the other one that you really love, The Killer.
Yes. Yes, Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross. Would have loved to see them on here. Can I shout out one?
Yes, please.
We are the only two people in the world to listen to this score.
No,
it's
stop.
Landscape. It's Landscape with Invisible Hand. I would have loved to see, but obviously impossible. But shout out to that score.
Yeah, shout out to that score. That's literally going to be the next movie that I talk about.
There you go. Michael Abels for, yeah.
Yeah. Landscape with Invisible Hand. Go give it a listen. And my last one on the list is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. I don't really understand. I don't really know like how these would qualify as original score, but regardless, shouting out to some good pieces of music for the year. Out of these 6, which one is your favorite, and which one do you think will win?
Oh, okay. My favorite and what I think will win is the same, but I wanted to talk about like some of the other ones. The Zone of Interest score is freaking crazy, but I think that works so well with the sound design of that film. I think Zone of Interest has the best sound design in any film I saw last year, and the score really complemented it. They really bounced off each other very well. And like in terms of just like an auditory experience, the Zone of Interest was the best, especially watching it in a theater. I think that's a movie that's really built on just the soundscape of the world they've built. So that's a shout out to that. But obviously my pick and my favorite would be my boy Ludwig for Oppenheimer. I don't know if that comes as much of a surprise to you, but that's all I listen to. I just released an edit on my YouTube channel to Quantum Mechanics, shouting out my favorite movies of last year. I love that score. I think Ludwig and Nolan's a match made in heaven. I don't know if you... I think you disagree with me on that.
I do. I do a little bit.
But that would be my pick.
Great. That's a great pick. And this is, a stacked category. And when it comes to Nolan and Gronson combo, duo, I kind of like Zimmer and Nolan a little bit more. I feel like Gronson sometimes hits the same note on different movies over and over again, whereas Zimmer is always trying to find something new. I love Ludwig. I love Tenet. I love that score, and I think he also did something special with Oppenheimer. So I think my favorite one will be Oppenheimer, and I do think Oppenheimer will win. And I know a lot of people are pretty much locking in on Oppenheimer and talking about how this year is Nolan's year. Do you agree on that?
Yes, I do. And we'll obviously talk about that more in the future categories for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But shout out to Poor Things. Poor Things score is also very intriguing. It's just really weird, and it really captured my ears every time I hear it in the theater. Also, Killers of the Flower Moon. I haven't seen The Boy and the Heron and The Zone of Interest yet. And Daniel Pemberton finally got a nomination, because I feel like he was one of the biggest snub when the first Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie came out. I really love what he's doing. I feel like he's really pushing the boundaries here. It's just great to see him finally getting the recognition he deserves.
It's a great category, and I wouldn't actually be mad if any of these won, except I also haven't seen The Boy and the Heron yet, so maybe that's the one where I've been like, really? But obviously I haven't seen it. So, but other than that, I think this is a really great nomination list.
Yeah, totally. I'm really excited for this one. Moving on to the next category, which is Best Screenplay. This is a big one. We got Celine Song for Past Lives, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Eric Roth and Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon, Greta Gerwig and Noam Baumbach for Barbie, Justin Triet and Arthur Harari for Anatomy of a Fall, and Tony McNamara for Poor Things. Out of 6 categories, half of them are penned by 2 people. Yeah. So that's something interesting. Before we get into it, I also want to shout out to a bunch of scripts that I really love from this year. Maybe do you want to shout out first, and maybe some of the snubs?
How about you go first so I can bring up who the writers are? Because I don't know if the director also wrote these.
Okay. First thing, I want to start off strong. I think May December has one of the best scripts of the year.
Yes,
And
I was looking at that right now. Yes.
Yeah.
That's because I know Todd Haynes didn't write that, so I don't want to just say, May December. That's
right.
Alex Mechanic, it looks like, and Sammy Birch. Also a writer pair there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a lot of writer pairs this year, apparently. I think May December has one of the best scripts of the year, and Todd Haynes was able to bring something out of the script that is completely unique as well from this year, but we'll talk about that later when we get to the director's category. The Holdovers was completely snubbed. I love that movie. I know you're kind of like meh about it.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Don't
Okay.
put it, I'm not meh on The Holdovers. I think it's a good movie.
Yeah, Holdovers. I think it's also one of my favorite scripts of the year, and it's also one of my favorite films of the year. Even though I haven't seen some of the award favorite yet. Theater Camp. I think Theater Camp deserves some love.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the funniest movies of the year, and also just incredible watch. Asteroid City. I also think it deserves a shout out. Another little indie, which has no chance anywhere, but it's called You Hurt My Feelings. I don't know if you heard of this one.
I have not. Maybe if I look at a poster.
Yeah, it's a little indie called You Hurt My Feelings. It's also one of my favorite scripts of the year. It's a very inspiring script for me too, because I kind of want to write like that. Other than that, Blackberry.
Yes.
Love to see that on there, right?
One of my favorites of the year.
Yeah, and I think one of the favorites for a lot of us in our friend group.
Yeah. I think they're just maybe too indie to like campaign for awards. But I think I honestly think if they had a bigger budget, they could have secured some nominations.
Yeah. Shout out to Blackberry. And just Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I thought it also has a wonderful script that if it got nominated, I wouldn't be surprised. But I think it's also the same thing with Blackberry. I think it's just too small of a movie, too indie. Yeah, but that's just my shout outs and my snubs. What do you have over there?
I think you covered the bases. I liked Ferrari's script.
I haven't seen that. Yeah,
that was a really good movie. I thought Air was pretty good. So yeah, but I don't think I would have nominated. Actually, this is where I point out that I don't think Barbie should have been nominated for best screenplay. So I think I might have nominated some of your mentions over Barbie, so that those would have been.
I think it's really interesting because we went to Barbenheimer together, and all of our group came out of Barbie just feel like, well, that was a little underwhelming.
I think it's because we also watched Oppenheimer first, which it was still trying to settle in our brains, and so? Barbie just felt, So I think it just felt really second tier after walking out of Oppenheimer. But we didn't realize that at the time yet. That's what I'm thinking.
And
but we can get into this whole thing. I've rewatched both of them, yes. Mm-hmm. Have you rewatched Barbie and Oppenheimer?
I have rewatched Oppenheimer, but I have not rewatched Barbie yet. And
interesting.
Maybe it will change my mind on more rewatches down the road. But for now,
I did like Barbie more on a rewatch. Mm-hmm. I did, but it also confirmed a lot of the problems I had with it the first time I watched it. And this is coming from a huge Greta Gerwig fan. Can I just put that on the record? I don't know, if you know me, you'll know that Little Women is an all-timer for me. I think that's honestly a classic film. I thought that was such a great film that got snubbed the year it came out in terms of a lot of categories. Greta Gerwig did not get a director nomination for that film, which I thought was an absolute crime. So I guess I just want to have that so Greta Gerwig shooters don't come after me. I'm a huge Greta fan.
I agree. Little Woman was definitely one of the best films that year, but that year was super competitive.
Mm-hmm. That was a great year for movies.
Yeah, incredible year. I'm a Greta Gerwig fan too. You know, I study Lady Bird front to back so many freaking times. I love Lady Bird. I love Little Woman. I love Noah Baumbach. I watched all of his movies, and I studied all of his movies. I don't know, something about Cat Barbie just didn't quite connect with me.
I have a theory on. Okay, are we just gonna go into a whole Barbie thing on this podcast?
We can talk about more as we go into the bigger categories. How about that?
Yeah, but I think because it has to do with the writing of it as well, and this is screenplay. Because I believe this is a quote I saw. Like Noah Baumbach did not want to write Barbie. Like he begged Greta Gerwig for them not to do it.
Interesting.
But obviously they did anyway. So I think that like hatred, that like he doesn't want to do it. I can sense it. I can sense it in the script. I can sense it in the film. And I think
interesting.
It loses this like heart that I think Lady Bird and Little Women has. So whenever like that and the fact that it is like a toy commercial makes the entire thing feel disingenuous compared to Greta Gerwig's past works. And I think that Noah Baumbach not wanting to even be a part of the writing team is like the first like hint of that.
Interesting. Yeah.
So that's my conspiracy theory.
Okay, well, we can dive into it, you know. Maybe we'll do a Barbie episode once I rewatched it. Yeah. In this category, I really love all of the films. I haven't seen Anatomy of a Fall yet, but I heard it's also one of the best scripts of the year, and I think you would agree with that, question mark?
Yes, it is one of my favorites of last year and one of my favorite scripts, definitely.
Hell yeah. Best screenplay, I hate to say it, I feel like this is Nolan's year. I think Oppenheimer's going to take it. I think it's Nolan's to lose in this category. And also I think it probably is my favorite, very close to Killers of the Flower Moon. But I think I'm gonna go with Oppenheimer.
I agree. I will. Oppenheimer is my favorite of these, and it is my pick. I think if there is any chance of it being upset, it's going to be Poor Things or it's going to be Barbie. And I would be very unhappy if Barbie takes it. And I also hear like rumblings of Poor Things hype, but honestly, I just don't see them taking it over Oppenheimer. So Oppenheimer's my pick.
Right, and I think out of all of these, the one win that would piss me off would probably be Barbie. So
yeah, I would love to see any of these other ones win too. Actually, I don't know if I'd be super hyped if Poor Things won. But a Celine song win would be that'd be so based. That'd be such a based pick from the HFPA if they did something like that. Would love to see Anatomy of a Fall win. That'd be great. And I would always love to see a Martin Scorsese acceptance speech.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Best director, it's Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Celine Song for Past Lives, Christopher Nolan Oppenheimer, Greta Gerwig on Barbie, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon, and Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things. Also a stacked category. Some of the snubs that I would kind of shout out. Do you want to go first this time?
Yeah, this could have been way more stacked, in my opinion. But I think they did with possibly. I do like Maestro in terms of its direction, though. Would I have nominated Bradley Cooper? I don't know, but I'm okay with him being nominated for this. I thought it was a really well-directed film. Some of my snubs, Todd Haynes, obviously the biggest
one. That's my top too.
I can't believe he was not nominated.
I know.
That like, I can't believe it. Like, honestly,
it's almost a crime.
It's a crime, yeah.
It's a crime.
Like, that movie falls apart if the director can't like walk a tightrope that he does in that film.
Yeah, I think Todd Haynes was able to bring so much just from paper, and I feel like reading the script alone wouldn't be as exciting or wouldn't be as interesting or intriguing if it wasn't for a really good director to be able to bring out all these little subtleties and kind of gray area to screen.
I think so many directors would fumble. I think we need more hot dogs. Like, just watch that scene. No, like, so many directors would miss that. Like, Todd Haynes got it. He's got the juice. And it's a baffling nomination for sure. Some other snubs. Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. I think I'll sing my praises for The Zone of Interest later on, but
Okay.
incredibly well directed. Would have loved to see him. Matt Johnson for Blackberry. Other than, well, I can't really, well, I guess Cooper and then someone else I don't want to say who shows up in their movie. Great performance in your film as well as directing it. I think it would have been a really fun nomination, but I don't think, like, if I was, like, I get why they didn't nominate him, but that would have been cool to see. Is it Justine Triet? How do I, is it, or, for Anatomy of a Fall? That would have been a great nomination. And then Fincher. But I think you mentioned this, like, it's like a Spielberg effect. Fincher's kind of being taken for granted sometimes. Incredibly directed film, The Killer.
Right.
It's just like every Fincher, it's like a masterclass of direction.
Right. So. I think The Killer is just such a film really about nothing other than just Fincher's filmmaking. It's really not about anything else, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you can say that always talking about like technology and all that stuff, but it's almost like Fincher is just like, all right, you know, I got a bunch of shit on my sleeve. Let me just like unload these bad boys to you guys. Yeah, I would totally agree. Fincher definitely had that Spielberg effect, and when they come out consistently with good work, that we start disrespecting them. And yeah, I totally agree. Do you have any other shout-outs?
I have one more, but I totally understand why they didn't nominate them. But Chad Stahelski for John Wick Chapter 4. I don't like incredible action filmmaking.
Right.
I think when I walked out of John Wick 4, I'm like, that's an action movie classic, and that starts with the direction, obviously. And it's not. It's just because it's an act. Like, if anything, that almost makes it harder in a certain way to direct a movie like that with set pieces like that. And not have it feel so, what's the word, artificial, or like, you know, just some like standard flick. It just felt, it's good to see like a vision behind action scenes. So that would have been a cool nomination, but obviously they're never going to do that. So not one I'm mad about, but one that would have been incredibly cool to see.
Right. Yeah. I think that's why people are consistently championing for this another category in our award show for best stunts, right?
Yes,
but instead we got another
category.
one. Yeah, that would be a great category, and but instead of that, we got some bullshit box office bullshit. That got.
I completely agree. That's the word.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Oh no, you guys made a lot of money. Let's award you. Like, the money is the reward, man.
Yeah,
like,
shut the fuck up.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, let's then we'll give a nod to John Wick 4 because it only made money, not because it was well made. It has the best probably the staircase scene ever put to film.
Maybe.
Possibly.
I think Jackie Chan's got some good staircase scenes in like a police story somewhere, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's up there. No, it's definitely up there though.
Yeah, so I got two other ones that you didn't shout out. Sofia Coppola for Priscilla. I think she it feels good to be able to watch a Sofia Coppola movie again. Yeah, I think what she was doing with Priscilla is also very distinct, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. And Alexander Payne, my boy with the holdovers was snubbed. I feel like, yeah. These are some of my favorite directors of the year. I would argue, though, that it's one thing to be able to communicate your ideas and direct actors with precision, but it's another thing when you're directing yourself. You know? So I think that's kind of my argument for maybe Alexander Payne or Todd Haynes should have been on here. I probably would have put Todd Haynes over Bradley Cooper or Greta Gerwig on this one. Yeah, but I love all of these, you know, to be honest.
Yeah, I would have, in terms of the Greta Gerwig nomination, obviously I wouldn't have nominated her, but I am less mad about this one than Screenplay. I think if you had to nominate her for one of them, I would nominate her for directing over Screenplay, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, what do you think? What's your favorite? What's your prediction?
It's Oppenheimer for both.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the pattern's beginning to emerge here, but this would be the first signs of this really being Nolan's year if he like really picks up a couple wins here at the Golden Globes.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of in between. I do think this is Nolan's year. I think he will probably win and probably go all the way to the Oscars, but but I think it's very tight for me between Scorsese and Nolan this year. I still haven't rewatched Killers of the Flower Moon. I know you've been dying to talk about the ending with me. I just watched it like a couple days ago, I think last week.
Really? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
I kept thinking about that ending, and I just kept thinking about the film, and it just like layer by layer trying to peel it off. And the more I think about it, I think the more genius it becomes.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah, it's very tight for me between Scorsese and Nolan, but I do think I'm just gonna lock in on Nolan because I think he's gonna win this year.
But I completely wouldn't be mad. Like Scorsese would be my second choice here for this award.
Right, exactly. Hey,
We're
if
like
anything,
the exact opposite. Sorry, have you seen those like these two guys on like TikTok who like hate Scorsese, and they're like, and they just love Marvel movies? I feel like this is the exact opposite of that podcast.
What is that? Oh, well, we just love Scorsese.
Yeah, we just love Scorsese. We're just the exact opposite of it.
I'm that person who loved Irishman when it first came out. So
I wish I was that person. I'm that person now. Like Irishman's incredible. I rewatched it last year. So good.
So we're both on the Nolan train this year, it seems like.
Well, actually, also for the Nolan thing, if I had to give him one of either screenplay or director, I would give him screenplay over director, I think.
Wow. I feel like I would have given him director, maybe, possibly.
I feel like some of his directing choices are very superhero movie. Or maybe that's a screenplay problem. But I don't know. But I think, no, it's tough. It's tough.
It's tough. All right. If we're good on that, we can move on to best performance by a male actor in a supporting role in any motion picture. That's a long name for a category. Supporting actor. We got Charles Melton, of course, for May December. Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things, a duo with Willem Dafoe on Poor Things as well. Our two Roberts duo, Robert De Niro on Killers of the Flower Moon, and Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, and Ryan Gosling from Barbie. This is also, looking at everything, I feel like this is the most stacked category for me. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely stacked. Great supporting actor performances this year. I do have a snub. You probably know what my snub is.
I don't, but yeah, go ahead. I have two snubs.
It's Glenn Howerton, Blackberry.
I got Matt Johnson from Blackberry.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Seeing that we both got Blackberry on here, and he's just consistently getting snubbed, and consistently we're shouting out Blackberry, just to let all the listeners out there go watch Blackberry.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I do have another snub.
Yeah.
Which I would like to shout out. Dominic Sessa from The Holdovers would be a great nomination, I think. I don't know who I would take out. Maybe Willem Dafoe. I think maybe two Poor Things nominations might be too much for that movie, but that's another snub. That's a great performance.
My other snub, maybe I don't think it's a snub. I think it's more of a shout out. Dar Salim, from Guy Ritchie's The Covenant, a movie that a lot of people forgot about. Yeah, it came out.
I have not seen it.
Yeah, it came out, I think, earlier this year or during the summertime. I don't quite remember, but when I was looking at all the movies that I watched this year, he just popped in my head. I thought he was really good in that movie. I don't think it's a snub, but I just want to shout him out. So yeah, this is a stacked category. I am going to lock in my win on Robert Downey Jr. I think he's probably has the best chance to win for an actor that is so popular in the industry, especially coming off of this massive franchise. For him, for the audience to see him again in like a real character in and performing and really just like disappear into this really petty character of Strauss. And I think it's something that it's very exciting for everyone to see. So I think he's gonna win. Also, that the fact that Oppenheimer is probably gonna take a lot of wins this year. But I think my favorite might be Mark Ruffalo from The Poor Things.
Oh, wow. Wow, I did not expect that, actually.
Yeah.
I was going to say, just like, because we watched Poor Things together, I felt like your reaction to it wasn't as positive walking out of that movie, so I'm surprised Mark Ruffalo was is your choice, or favorite choice.
I think I walked out. You got confused because I walked out being confused instead of just like negative about it. I was just like, what the hell was that? And I was just like, kind of just thinking about it all day after that. But I think Mark Ruffalo really rides the line between like serious and also one of the greatest comedic performance from a male actor of the year. I think Mark Ruffalo might be my favorite because he's the one with the most range, that showed the most range, and also with the most nuance, even though I love De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon.
I was gonna say, like, Robert De Niro also has this Spielberg thing where he's just so spectacular, and we're kind of taking it for granted nowadays. Maybe because he does like a lot of other movies that aren't like as prestigious, but whenever he teams up with Scorsese, I think he just transforms into like the greatest actor of all time. Like, I think his performance in The Irishman is absolutely incredible, and obviously he's great again in Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, he's one of the reasons why after Killers of the Flower Moon, I wanted to rewind it and watch it again. Because you really start to realize what the character is doing at the end of it,
Yeah. My pick, though, it's going to be also Robert Downey Jr. I'm almost thinking I should have taken like a different timeline. I should have gone with the Nightmare timeline where Barbie sweeps. So just in case that happens, I win. I get the points, but yeah, Robert Downey Jr. I think this is his year to get this Oscar. But he isn't my favorite. My favorite would be Charles Melton in May December. And I talked with Ronan about this. And he disagrees with me, but I think Charles Melton, it's a fantastic performance. And obviously I had no expectations going into it about what he's going to do, and he just completely blew me away. And I think all the pain and all the emotional core of that film obviously is on him. And without that, the film doesn't work as well as it does on that level for me. So I love this performance in it.
Because like his character is almost like trying to like hold everything together when he's obviously not able to. When he finally, I kind of don't want to spoil it, but towards the end of it, you kind of, when everything is fired on all cylinder, you really see like the complexity, I guess, in the character. I would say Charles Melton is also one of my favorites. Definitely over Gosling and Dafoe, I feel like, because I feel like they're just kind of there.
Yeah, and I'm a huge Gosling. Like, Gosling's my favorite actor, but I feel like this is a performance like I feel like he's done before in certain ways. So, so yeah, I'm not really like, I know everyone's like, oh, you got to nominate him for Barbie, but it just wasn't working for me as much.
All right, if we're good on that, we can move on to the Best Performance by a Female Actor in a Supporting Role in Any Motion Picture, aka Best Supporting Actress. We got Danielle Brooks from The Color Purple, which I haven't seen yet. Divine Joy Randolph from The Holdovers. Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer. Jodie Foster in Nyad. Julianne Moore in May December, and Rosamund Pike in Saltburn. I don't have much on the snubs and the shout out. All I can think of is Viola Davis in Air? ?
That's a good one.
That's a good one. But Viola Davis also has a Spielberg effect where, she's just so fucking good in everything, and we start just ignoring her, pretty much. So shout out to Viola Davis.
I haven't seen The Color Purple and Nyad. I feel like Jodie Foster is just nominated for a Golden Globe every year. It seems like, but not the Oscar. I don't know, she must have a lot of friends at HFPA.
Wow.
I love Jodie Foster, dude. I love
Yeah,
Silence of the Lambs. Dude.
we all love Jodie Foster.
That's no shade. That's just like I feel like she's nominated for Golden Globes every year. Like I don't know. Like look at the history. I guess maybe my only snub would be maybe Tilda Swinton in The Killer, but that's a pretty small role. And then shout out to all the supporting actors in Bottoms and Theater Camp, but they're not going to nominate those. But shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah,
I also haven't seen The Color Purple and Nyat yet, and these are the movies that I'm definitely gonna catch, hopefully in January. My pick. Here's the thing. Julianne Moore, Natalie Portman, Charles Melton. The best ensemble of the year, I would say.
Are we gonna do a SAG podcast too, where we have to talk
Possibly.
about acting ensembles?
Over Oppenheimer. I feel like Oppenheimer has all the big names, but I think May this December brought the best out of all of these actors. I think Emily Blunt is gonna win this one, to be quite honest. But my favorite might be Divine Joy Randolph, because she really felt like the heart of The Holdover. Without her performance, without her character, I feel like The Holdovers would not hold up at all. And then my close second pick favorite might be Julianne Moore. Just the more I think about her performance in May, December, yeah, it's just the more I love it. Yeah, but my pick is gonna be Emily Blunt. What do you feel like? Also, Rosamund Pike, kind of weird. What?
Yeah, that's kind of a strange one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recently watched Saltburn a couple days ago. Not going to dive into that. I think this is where I get a point on you. I think the winner is going to be Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. I don't know if she's my favorite. I think I'd give Julianne Moore my favorite pick, but I think she's been sweeping. And I think this is where The Holdovers gets their award. So that's my pick to win.
I definitely am still gonna do a rewatch on May, December. Every year, there's a few movies that come out that made me want to instant rewind it as soon as the credit starts rolling. May, December is one of them, and Killers of the Flower Moon is also one of them. So I think maybe on a rewatch, I might appreciate Julianne Moore a little bit more than Divine. Yeah, so you're locked in on Divine for this one?
Yeah, it gives a great performance, but I think Julianne Moore, like, incredible, like, just giving that character her lisp is just such a intentional choice. Like, and it's perfect. God. I love that. Loved her performance. Yeah.
No, it's one of those things that now we're talking about it. I might go with Julianne Moore being my favorite. Like, the fact that she's so subtle towards the end of it, when Natalie Portman kind of stepped up and started doing the lips, almost overacting, you start to realize that how much Julianne Moore is underacting.
Yes.
And that's something that you don't even realize until that moment. And it's just the fact that, you know, Julianne Moore was able to write that line and also almost act like a child in so many of these scenes, in like a adult body. I think it's something also very incredible. Let's move on to the next one. Best performance by a male actor in a motion picture, musical or comedy. Again, I don't know why musical and comedy are in the same category, but the more nominations we get, the more recognitions that we can give to actors, the better, to be honest. So we got Jeffrey Wright, American Fiction, from American Fiction, that I still haven't seen yet. Joaquin Phoenix for Beau is Afraid. Matt Damon in Air, Nicolas Cage in Dream Scenario, Paul Giamatti from The Holdovers, and Timothée Chalamet.
I actually got surprised. I forgot Timothée Chalamet got nominated for Wonka.
Yeah. So this one is also kind of a surprise for me when it comes to Joaquin Phoenix, Nicolas Cage, and Timothée Chalamet. I did not expect them to be in this at all, but I think it makes sense as well, because the reason why Dream Scenario and Beau is Afraid worked so well was because of the lead actor in it. The fact that they were able to sell that, sell that vulnerability so well. I don't know about you, but I'm just very, very, very not hot on Wonka.
I haven't seen it, so
yeah, you should see it, and then we'll see, because I watched it with Derek and Jake.
I know you invited me to this. I was out of town.
Yeah, and I think we were all expecting to be like, oh, that was surprisingly good, and we all walked out feeling like, well, that was a nyquil of a movie. What do you have any snubs? Do you want to shout out?
I think just one, and it would be Jay Baruchel for Blackberry. I
have that too.
Yeah, I think that's an underrated performance from that movie. I think he does a really good job, like this arc of this character, who's pretty much the protagonist, and I just don't hear enough praise about him. I think he does a really great job watching this character transform from what he is, like this shy nerd at the beginning, to a Glenn Howerton-like character by the end of the film. Sorry, if that's not really a spoiler, is it? But, no. That's not a spoiler. But yeah, shout out to Jay. That movie came out almost a year ago now. Come on, y'all.
Yeah, shout out.
And Blackberry happened. Blackberries were real, by the way. This isn't a fictional story.
Even the movie is not really real. Do you have more? Shout outs and snubs?
I think that's it for me for comedy, because I think my other snubs would fall under drama.
Okay. I other than Jay Baruchel from Blackberry,
I think
Baruchel from Blackberry. I have another one. If Barbie was able to do this for Best Song, I think Joaquin Phoenix is able to do it on Napoleon too.
For comedy? Is that
yes? Yes. Really, Scott?
I still haven't seen Napoleon.
Yes, I think you should watch it and we should talk about it. And I know I've said a lot of things about Ridley Scott with you and Ronan that you guys are just really mad at me about. But I think Ridley Scott is on a trajectory of making these movies that are just pretty fucking weird, and also kind of just making fun of the subjects that he's making films on. And I think Napoleon is definitely one of that, where you kind of don't realize it's a comedy until you actually watch it. The same thing with May December
actually,
as well.
There is history to this, because The Martian was nominated as a comedy back in 2015 by the Golden Globes. So a Napoleon comedy nomination wouldn't be like completely out of left field for Ridley Scott.
Right. Yeah. I think I would take Timothée Chalamet out and just put another Joaquin Phoenix in there, if that's allowed. Barbie.
That's pretty funny. No, you can be double nominated for sure. Yeah.
I really feel like it's in between Jeffrey Wright and Paul Giamatti this year on the male actor. My pick and my favorite are the same. I haven't seen American Fiction yet, so we'll see. But right now, I'm locking in on Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers. One of my favorite films, one of my favorite scripts, and one of my favorite male actor in a leading role of the year. What do you feel?
Of these choices, that would be my favorite. I haven't seen American Fiction yet, and I agree that those are the two I'm kind of locked in. And since you are going Giamatti, I'm going to go Jeffrey Wright, because I didn't know who I was going to pick. And hearing you, Tom, I'm like, okay, I'll go with the other one, just so maybe like I can get a score up on you, like if I get it right. So
hell yeah. And the award goes to Joaquin Phoenix from Beau is Afraid. I would be stoked if that happens.
I would too. That'd be hilarious.
Shout out to Joaquin Phoenix. I think he's great in Beau is Afraid. Shout out to Nicolas Cage too. I think he's also really funny and really great in Dream Scenario. Matt Damon, I think he's also really good. Yeah, I would probably swap out Timothée Chalamet for this one. Yeah, let's move on to the next category. Best performance by a female actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. I have not seen half of these. I hope you have seen No Hard Feelings and Fallen Leaves. Have you seen those?
I've seen No Hard Feelings. I have not seen Fallen Leaves.
Okay. So we got Alma Poistai from Fallen Leaves, Emma Stones in Poor Things, Fantasia Barrino from The Color Purple, Jennifer Lawrence in No Hard Feelings, and Margot Robbie Barbie, and Natalie Portman from May December.
I think it's solid. Obviously, there are ones I haven't seen, but I'm actually pretty good on all these nominations for this category. But I do have some shout outs if you wanted to do some of those.
I do have two shout outs. One of them being Vanessa Kirby from the Napoleon. Yeah, I do think she's really good, and yeah, every time she's on screen in any movies, I'm just always really intrigued. I really like her as a performer, and I'm kind of surprised that this one didn't even get like a award run, even though I really did not like the movie at all. The Little Mermaid didn't get anything. Yeah, so I feel like Halle Bailey didn't like the fact that The Little Mermaid didn't wasn't even trying at the awards. I feel like it's pretty funny, considering how hot, quote unquote, the movie was when it first came out. I feel like Halle Bailey was the best part of The Little Mermaid, and if it wasn't for her, I think the movie would even be worse for me. Yeah, so those are my two shout outs. Do you have any snubs and shout outs too?
Yeah, and they're all from the same friend group. Rachel Sennett, Ayo Edebiri, and Molly Gordon. A theater camp and bottoms combination. I think any of them could have been nominated, like, if I had to do an award show for comedy. But I get why they didn't. But I thought those were all incredible comedic performances this year, especially from Molly Gordon, who also directed her own film. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're theater camp fans here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to go first? Which one is your favorite, and which one you want to lock in?
Yeah. My favorite here would be Natalie Portman in May December. That's an incredible performance. Absolutely kills it. Maybe my favorite Natalie Portman performance. That's just like a tour de force. Like she's working on so many different levels. Like I can say that about all the performance in this movie, but wow, she's just incredible. It's completely uncomfortable. I was reclining in my seat. Great work by her, but I don't think she's going to win. I think my pick is going to be Emma Stone here for Poor Things. I think she's just gotten the most buzz right now, and I think Poor Things can give Oppenheimer a run for its money the way things are looking. So I'm going with Emma Stone as my pick.
We pretty much agree. My favorite one would also be Natalie Portman, and I also think it's probably definitely one of the best performances of the year. And I'm not too familiar with Natalie Portman and her body of work, but this is definitely one of the best I've ever seen her in. And the maybe if you want to win up on me with Jeffrey Wright, I want to win up on you with Natalie Portman. So I'm gonna so I do think, I'm gonna just say this, I do think Emma Stone is gonna win. I'm gonna lock in on Natalie Portman just in the case of Offset.
Can I give you advice? I would go with Margot Robbie for a possible upset win. And I think that's a good nomination. I've been talking trash about Barbie this whole, but for this category, I think that's a good nomination. She's great in Barbie as Barbie. She gives a great artificiality to her Barbie self. So I think that's a good. And I think if there's that nightmare scenario where Barbie sweeps the Golden Globes, she would get this award.
That would be insane. Man, should I go with my guts or should I take your advice? Or should
That's
I just
up to
lock
you,
in on Emma Stone? I'm a stick to my guns. I'm gonna lock in on Natalie Portman. It's my favorite one, and I just hope let's say I win on this one. Yeah, and I do think Emma Stone probably will win, and I think she's probably my second favorite out of all of these. Do you think it's the best Emma Stone has ever been?
No, I don't think it's even the best she's been in a Yorgos Lanthimos movie. But she's great. She's fantastic. But she's also like one of my favorite actors. So I don't want to be like I'm an Emma Stone hater, but I think Poor Things. I think she has a better body of work outside of it. Shout out to Jennifer Lawrence's performance because you haven't seen No Hard Feelings. I think that's a great comedic performance. Like that's a very movie star performance. It's a very this is like, oh yeah, this person can sell out a theater. She's just that charismatic and has that screen presence. So I thought that was a good nomination.
I'll try to catch it this month. The movie and the marketing of it makes me uncomfortable. That's why I feel like I put it off for so long. But yeah,
it's like May December, but funnier.
Yeah. But seeing the buzz coming in, I'm definitely interested. I heard Fantasia Barrino was also excellent in The Color Purple. So yeah, just gonna catch up on all of these, and hopefully next time we record for the Oscars, we are able to.
Yeah, we will be for sure.
All right, let's move on to the best performance by a male actor in a motion picture drama. This is also pretty stacked. I have not seen All of Us Strangers yet. I don't think it's out yet. It's on limited release as of the recording, maybe.
I think it's out in LA, but I don't know for sure. But I also haven't seen it, and I haven't seen Rustin, but I know you have.
Yeah, so the nominations are Andrew Scott from All of Us Strangers, Barry Keoghan from Saltburn, Bradley Cooper in Maestro, Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer, Coleman Domingo in Rustin, and Leonardo DiCaprio from Killers of the Flower Moon. I have a couple shout outs and a couple snubs that I would like to just call out. Shout out to Jake Gyllenhaal from The Covenant. I thought he's really good. I don't think he probably does not deserve a nomination, but I just want to shout him out. Kelvin Harris Jr. in Chevalier earlier this year. I also I remember seeing
trailers for that movie. Have not seen it.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty good in it, and I'm every time he's in a movie, I will watch it. Christopher Abbott from Sanctuary. That's a shout out. I think he's also
that is
really
a shout out.
That's
a great performance. I think Margaret Qualley is actually a snub. We should have met, or actually no, we haven't done.
We haven't done that, but she's gonna be.
No, but would that be a comedy?
I put that in my drama snub.
Okay, then I'd have that as okay.
Yeah, Christopher Abbott, shout out. Incredible movie too. Go watch Sanctuary, guys. And the last one, Michael Fassbender from The Killer. I thought he was also really good in that movie.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah, so those are my shout outs. Do you have any more?
I have Adam Driver in Ferrari. Really great performance. I'm excited for Heat 2, which was announced they're probably filming this year, so that's going to be exciting. And then Christian Friedel in The Zone of Interest. I don't know if I'd nominate him, but that's just a shout out. But I think I would nominate like Driver over probably Barry Keoghan in Saltburn. Yeah.
Okay. So looking at this category, the only one that I haven't seen is All of Us Strangers, and I think this is Cillian Murphy's year. I think it's finally time for him to get something, and I think this is the perfect time for him to win something. And I also feel like he is the best one. He's my favorite one, and I think he's the best. He gave out the best performance in a leading role this year for me too. To be able to be that intimate, especially when there's a fucking IMAX camera pointing you on a close-up. I think that is that requires so much from an actor. Cillian Murphy, my favorite, and I think he's gonna win. Shout out to Coleman Domingo. I think he's also really good in Rustin. Bradley Cooper, incredible stuff. But again, at the same time, I feel like there's a difference between being directed and also when you're also behind the camera. I think there's an argument for it not being as deliberate. Yeah, that's my pick. Do you have what's your pick?
Actually, I want to give one more shout out for a different category because I thought for some reason I forgot for supporting actor they like combined comedy and drama, but the fact that Penelope Cruz is in here. That's crazy to me. That's one of my favorite performances of last year. Penelope Cruz from Ferrari is not nominated.
Oh, okay.
That's one shout out I need to give out. I thought she'd show up later, but she's not nominated. Snub, in my opinion, huge snub. Sorry, but back to best actor. I completely agree with what you're saying about Cillian Murphy. I think it'd be hard not to pick him. So that's my pick. People are saying maybe Bradley Cooper comes in, but I don't think Maestro has enough like juice around it in terms of like hype. I think Oppenheimer is definitely a bigger story. So, and it's my favorite too. That's my pick.
Right. I just feel like if you're also directing and you're in front of the camera and you're also behind the camera at the same time, I feel like the movie kind of loses a director sometimes. Yeah, and I feel like in Maestro, definitely I feel that when watching it. I'm definitely gonna rewatch it again for sure. Because I wasn't really expecting what they point their cameras towards in Maestro, because it's really told through the relationship between him and what's her name? Michelle Williams? No, Michelle Williams.
No, Carey Mulligan.
Carey Mulligan. Carey Mulligan. Yeah, yeah. It's really in between. It's like
if you watch the trailer,
relationship.
you would have expected that. So watch more trailers.
No, I don't want to watch trailers. So
the teaser.
Okay,
well, since you've seen it, I think you should rewatch the teaser trailer. I love the teaser trailer for Maestro. That was a really good. Teaser.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's we're both locking in on Cillian Murphy and both of our favorites.
Yep.
Yeah.
The world finally knows it's Cillian Murphy this year, not Cillian.
It is Cillian Murphy. Let's move on to the best performance by a female actor in a motion picture drama.
Mm-hmm.
These are the female leads of the year.
Based picks. Great nomination.
Pretty based. I haven't seen Nayat yet and Anatomy of a Fall. I heard great things about them. I can't wait to watch them. The nominees are Annette Bening from Nayat, Haley Spaney in Priscilla, Carey Mulligan in Maestro, Greta Lee in Past Lives, Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of a Fall. As I said before, I think one at the only probably snub I feel like that deserves a spot or a shout out at least is Margaret Qualley from Sanctuary. I thought she's excellent in the film, and I think she's really front and center, and a lot of the films really relies on her performance, and she delivered. So shout out to Margaret Qualley.
I agree. That's a fantastic performance. I would say her and Christopher Abbott both equally carry. I wouldn't say she singularly carried the film. It's just unfortunate because that's kind of like a half 2022, half 2023. So it's kind of like, is that even eligible for anything anymore? But yeah, that's a great performance, and I would totally nominate that. But I don't know if that would fall under comedy or drama. That's the problem. Like, I honestly think May December's like Natalie Portman should be in this category, But what are you gonna do?
Yeah. May December is also that another one that it's almost like Napoleon. It's almost like the House of Gucci, where it rides the line being a drama and a comedy so finely. It's almost hard to decipher. I think it's gonna be interesting in the next couple of years to see these kind of movies keep rolling out, because it really challenges like the audience perspective about how to watch a film. May December, is it a comedy, is it a drama? You can make the argument being a drama, you can also make the argument being a comedy, because what's happening, it's funny, but it's hard to laugh at it. It's the same thing with Beau is Afraid and Dream Scenario, these kind of movies where it almost feels wrong to laugh at them. But I digress. Do you have any? What's your picks?
My pick would be Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon. I think that's a great performance. It's not my favorite. My favorite would be probably Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of a Fall. But maybe that's just because that performance is way more prominent in her movie. Because like Lily Gladstone, like there's the argument she should be like a supporting actress. But great performance either way. Loved her in Killers of the Flower Moon. I also enjoyed Carey Mulligan in Maestro a lot. Actually, I think she was my favorite performance in that film. But yeah, I think Lily Gladstone is the win, and I love that they nominated Greta Lee. I love to see Past Lives up there.
When it comes to like the argument about Lily Gladstone being a supporting actress, I feel like that's a nah for me. I think she is the lead from Killers of the Flower Moon, for being so front and center, and also just being the heart of the movie. I feel like the movie doesn't exist without her, and the fact that it is such a long movie, and even though she spends a lot of it not on screen, I feel like the story in the film is all, and the other actors are always kind of revolving around her. So I think Lily Gladstone definitely is a lead for me, and Lily Gladstone is also my favorite, and I think she's gonna win. I haven't seen Anatomy of a Fall, so.
Yeah, I think Anatomy of a Fall, it can argue that's kind of like a very like film class or drama class performance where it's like, you know, you're given all these like monologues and acting scenes, but Sandra Hüller's incredible in them. So I think it's a more showy performance, but maybe I just gravitate towards that more. But I'm not dissing Lily Gladstone or anything. I think I would be ecstatic to see her win.
These are all really good picks. Greta Lee, Carey Mulligan, Kaylee Spaney.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen
Yeah,
that
Kaylee
yet,
Spaney,
you know?
like shout out, like she was great in Priscilla.
shout out.
That was, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I haven't seen Niad or Naiad.
Naiad. Yeah, I haven't seen Naiad yet. But yeah, like also great casting work on Priscilla. The fact that she just looks like a freaking doll. She looks just like a freaking kid next to all of these other people who are so tall. And, you know, great casting choice. And
yeah, it's like down to makeup too. Like, they did a good job.
Yeah, great job. I just wonder that if the argument is being made about Lily Gladstone not being a lead, is the argument also made for Kaylee Spaney? Because she's also kind of not as involved.
No,
in Priscilla.
I think those are totally. I think Kaylee Spaney's way more in Priscilla than Lily Gladstone is in Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, I think so, but I guess it's like in a more like story wise, where it's like, oh, why? Oh, let's watch Priscilla. No, I just wish that Priscilla, the movie, kind of focused on Priscilla a little bit more, and then you realize that that's never the filmmaker's intent, because all you see is Elvis, and you realize, oh, Priscilla is about Elvis, because that's her life. It's never about Priscilla. It's never about her. It's always been about Elvis in her life.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I think I would have said it a bit differently, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, it's about Elvis, and like that's the problem, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I guess I didn't put it in the most poetic way, but that's what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say. Let's move on to some of the bigger ones now. Best motion picture and non-English language. I have not seen a lot of these, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to talk about in this category, but just based on what I've been hearing, I just want to shout out to some movies. I have seen Concrete Utopia. I think it's also a great entry from South Korea. Put that on your radar. I also saw Godzilla -1. It has been getting a lot of buzz this recent months. I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually got a nomination here, but they didn't. And shout out to all the movies that I haven't watched. Fallen Leaves from Finland, The Promised Land from Denmark, 20 Days in Mariupol from Ukraine, Four Daughters from Tunisia, Perfect Days from Japan, The Taste of Things from France, and The Teacher's Lounge from Germany. I haven't seen any of these, but I heard really good things about them, and I cannot wait to watch them. So the nominees are Anatomy of a Fall, Fallen Leaves, Io Capitano, Past Lives, Society of the Snow, and The Zone of Interest. I am not the expert at this category at this moment in time, so I'm just gonna pass the mic to you.
No, but me neither. Can I shout out that like some of these posters are freaking fire? Like Io Capitano, like that incredible poster, Zone of Interest. Love that poster. So of these, I've seen the ones that are also nominated for Best Picture. So that would be Anatomy of a Fall, Past Lives, and The Zone of Interest. Those are the three I've seen. And I think the winner will come from one of these three. And I think the way things are going right now, I think it's going to be Anatomy of a Fall. But my personal favorite is The Zone of Interest. I have not stopped thinking about that movie. I think it's kind of weird to say, like, oh, this is a correct way to do a movie about this subject matter. But I think it is, like, I don't want to dive into it too much out of, like, spoilers or whatever if you don't know the premise of the film. But incredible. Haven't stopped thinking about it. I want to go rewatch it immediately, which is kind of weird. That I want to actually, like, I'm hesitant to rewatch it, but I just want to rewatch it because the craft is so excellent. But not to, like, take anything away from Anatomy of a Fall. I think that'd be a good win. The Palme d'Or winner, so it has, like, that momentum behind it. And it's a great movie, so I think that's what's going to take a home non-English language. Also, it's weird that it's in non-English language, considering a lot of that movie is in English, and so is Past Lives. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm really interested in The Zone of Interest. I've heard like just incredible, nothing but good things about it. Same thing about Anatomy of a Fall. I love a courtroom drama, so definitely gonna catch all of these in the next month. And I don't have a favorite because I haven't seen a lot of it. I'm gonna go with Past Lives. Who's gonna take it? I think Past Lives has a lot of momentum as well, especially with all the other nominations, and also it being so accessible to the public, to the general audience. I feel like Past Lives has a good chance of winning it, but hopefully I don't like stumble on my words later after I've seen all of these.
Yeah, we'll be more prepared for the Oscar show for sure.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's move on to the most bullshit, weird one. Cinematic and box office achievement, question mark?
Worst category ever. Oh my god.
What's your take on this category?
Terrible. Get rid of it. What are we doing here? Like, it's like you want to bring in more viewership, but like that shouldn't be the point of your awards show. You know what I mean? Your point of your award show is to award the art, the filmmakers, not bring in eyes. But it's just like a cheap way to get views. And like, I do see that. Like, I understand why they added it, but it really should be like, I don't know. They should put like an asterisk on this. Like, this is not a true Golden Globe award.
Yeah, this is more of a like a good job participation award.
Yeah.
So the award for best cinematic and box office achievement includes 8 nominees chosen from films that achieved a box office receipt total gross of 150 million, of which 100 million must come from the U.S. domestic box office. That's kind of the criteria. This is so
stupid.
It is really fucking strange. It is really weird. And the more I dig into it, the weirder it gets, because when it comes to domestic, Barbie is number 1. Guardians of the Galaxy, these are all the nominations, by the way. Barbie is number 1. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is domestic number 4. John Wick Chapter 4 is domestic number 9. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is domestic number 13.
That was a flop this year, too. Like, that did, like, in terms of box office achievement, and I like that movie. That was kind of a flop in terms of the past Mission Impossible films.
Yeah. Oppenheimer, domestic number 5. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, domestic number 3. Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour, domestic number 11. And the Super Mario Brothers, domestic number 2. The reason I kind of did a little digging on these is because I feel like there's movies being left out. And sure enough, it has. The Little Mermaid domestically was number 6.
Yeah.
Sound of Freedom domestic was number 10. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania was this year, right?
Yeah, that was this year.
Domestic number 8. Fast X. I don't know how much money it made domestically, but worldwide is number 5. And also Elemental was worldwide number 9, which is really weird because, if domestic number 13 was able to get into the nomination, how come domestic number 6 didn't get in?
I know exactly why. It's because they invited the people they wanted to show up. They would hope like maybe Tom Cruise shows up, maybe Taylor Swift shows up if we nominate their movies. Right.
They're trying to they're trying to fill in the holes pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah, so would you be happy to see Tay Sway showing up at the Golden Globes Award?
I would be okay with that. I know. I was like walking on a minefield there.
I think
I wouldn't mind if Tay Sway showed up. She should perform. Let's go. Let's do it. Yeah.
I think Taylor Swift is probably the Eras Tour is probably gonna win just to get the Swifties to tune in to the awards.
Oh, okay. So is that your pick? So what's your pick?
My pick would be probably Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it's the best for the network. It's obviously not like the one that's most deserving, I feel like. I think there's definitely an argument for it because it being a concert movie and it was able to, get so much money, there's definitely an argument for it. But I think just for the, for the award show, I think it would be the most beneficial for them.
My pick. Well, okay, so if I were to give out this award, like in terms of like box office achievement, like, so I guess this would be my quote unquote favorite, even though I don't really like what. I think Oppenheimer deserves like box office achievement for an R-rated 3-hour biopic to make basically almost $1 billion on a summer release. Yep. That is an incredible achievement, and it's such a good sign for movies in the future, and that is incredible. That is true box office achievement. I think if you were to award it like that, I think they deserve it. But my pick would be Barbie, because I think if we're going with our timeline here, where Oppenheimer kind of sweeps the other awards, they need to give Barbie some love. So I think this is where you would give Barbie. And Barbie is also a great achievement in terms of like box office. They made over $1 billion. That also makes logical sense for them to win this award.
Yeah, and I think Barbenheimer was such a big event when it comes to cinema this year, and I wouldn't be surprised, if any one of them wins. But I think if I were to guess, it's definitely in between Barbie, Oppenheimer, and Taylor Swift, to be honest. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on then. I guess there's not much to talk about on this one. Best Animated Feature. The nominees are The Boy and the Heron, which I haven't seen yet, Elemental, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Suzume, the Super Mario Brothers movie, and Wish. What do you feel about this lineup?
I've only seen Spider-Man.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So I guess that's default my favorite, and that's going to also be my pick. So I'll save you some time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Catch other ones when you get the chance. I do want to shout out some movies that I still haven't seen yet, but I heard great things about them. One of the things that is just a little weird, because I haven't seen Wish yet, but I heard nothing but bad things about it. So I wouldn't mind if Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sneak in over here.
That would have been a good nom. I've seen only one scene from it. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have.
The scene where they like raid multiple places at the same time, and that one song is playing. That was a great scene. Just watching that clip, so that would have been cool. Nomination for sure.
I'm not the biggest fan on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I feel like if everyone is hating on Wish and everyone loves the Ninja Turtle movies, I think it probably deserves a spot. Nimona, it's currently on Netflix. Check that out. I haven't seen it, but I heard great things about it. Leo is also on Netflix, and this other one called the first Slam Dunk. Also, I heard great things about it. So yeah, these are probably possible snubs. I haven't seen it yet. My favorite one, I haven't seen The Boy and the Heron. My favorite one is gonna be Spider-Man, and my pick will be Spider-Man as well. I think if it was able to take Into the Spider-Verse, I think it's able to take this year too, because the other ones I'm not the biggest fan of, to be quite honest. I'm not very hot on Suzume. Elemental is just very boring. Super Mario Brother is just So yeah, I have to see the Miyazaki movie though. Okay, we're both locked in on Spider-Man, and we can move on to Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy.
Let's go.
We're getting to the big boys, the last two. The nominees for the Best Musical and Comedy are Air, American Fiction, Barbie, The Holdovers, May December, and Poor Things. It's a big category, and I would imagine you probably have a lot of snubs as well. So do you want to kick us off with that?
I mean, honestly, probably my biggest snub would just be Blackberry for comedy. Sure, we love Theater Camp. Maybe I would nominate Theater Camp over like Air, maybe, but I like Air a lot too. So the only like surefire one I'd nominate would be Blackberry, and that would probably be over Barbie, which I know we've been trash talking Barbie throughout this podcast.
We're gonna get canceled
we're gonna get canceled. It's over. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that would probably be my only snub at that in terms of that. Like, I would personally nominate here over like the other ones because I haven't seen American Fiction yet. So maybe there is a second slot. Other comedies, so like Theater Camp, Bottoms, and like Asteroid City, but I don't know if I'd nominate those. Yeah.
Yeah, great picks. Blackberry and Theater Camp are also on my snub or shout out list. Asteroid City, I'm surprised it's not getting any of the love this award season. I think it's a great comedy of the year. Napoleon also, I think it probably fits the spot. Although I'm not the biggest fan of the movie, I just want to shout it out. I think it holds weight this year as a comedy. Beau is Afraid is one that I would love to see on here.
That'd be pretty crazy if they did that.
I know, it would be incredible. Little Mermaid, again, not the biggest fan. Just kind of surprised that they didn't go full out with the marketing and the campaign. You Hurt My Feelings. I mentioned earlier in the podcast, it's one of my favorite scripts of the year. I want to give that a shout out. Dream Scenario, a shout out. And The Color Purple, I still haven't seen it, but I heard great things about it. Yeah, these are some of the snubs.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Would you nominate Beau's Afraid over Barbie?
No.
Okay, good job. That silence
I
was
would
incredible. You should leave that silence unedited.
Oh. No, I think just thinking about in terms of like cultural significance, I think Barbie definitely deserves a spot here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
would.
Do I like Beau's Afraid more than Barbie? I don't know. I don't know.
I would put Beau is Afraid over Air here.
Interesting.
Yes.
I do like Air a lot, but I'm a basketball fan, so obviously I'm biased. Sorry, you were saying?
I think it's just Air is a little bit too much by the book for me, and I would like to see something that is a little bit off kilter, a little bit weird, and something that the general audience is not really used to seeing. Granted, we got Poor Things here, but I would still love to have a little bit of Ari Aster in here, because I think he kind of is like the golden boy right now, and everyone is trying to protect him and to support him to keep making things that are unique and true to his vision. And I think I'm definitely on that train. Go Ari Aster. Yeah, what are your picks from this?
Yeah.
Did we go over the nominations?
Yeah, you said.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Surely, like an Air,
Probably.
American Fiction, Barbie, The Holdovers, May December, Poor Things. Like I
Yeah, and Poor Things. Yeah.
I would. Damn. Maybe I hoped you would go first, so I could just pick the other one because I don't know what you're gonna pick. My favorite is May December, but I don't think it's gonna win. The way that I've been picking, I would say Poor Things wins this. Which is, I think, kind of a 50-50 shot between this and Barbie for me. Depends on how the night goes, but I think if Emma Stone picks up actress, that's a pretty good indicator that they'll win for comedy here. So, yeah.
My favorite, I still have to rewatch the May December, but my favorite is in between The Holdovers and May December. But I don't think they're gonna win at all. I actually think Barbie is gonna take this, so I'm gonna put my money on Barbie, even though I feel like it's not the strongest candidate here. Let's move on to the final award, and the best motion picture drama nominations are Anatomy of a Fall, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, and The Zone of Interest. It's interesting because half of them are non-English speaking, which was not a thing a couple years back, and it's great to see that they are being included this year. Yeah, you want to shout out anything? Any snubs in your mind?
maybe I'd go The Killer over something like Maestro. And I think that would be it. I think everything else is a solid nomination. Yeah.
And I think that's why, because these are some of the safest and most predictable choices when it comes to nominations. So there are really no surprise here.
You wouldn't go Gran Turismo?
Man, you stole my joke, man. I'm leading up to that. Man.
You shouldn't see. I was the wrong person to invite because we're just
damn.
We're just too similar.
Man, I'm leading up to that. All right, I'm not gonna cut it out, but just pretend you don't know I have a joke in hand.
Okay, you should have said anything.
But for real though, I put Killer on it for a shout out.
It's just a shout out, or like
I think it's a shout out for me.
Okay.
The Killer. Yeah. Shout out to The Royal Hotel by Katie Green. I also think it's a very good drama.
I really want to see that. I've not seen that.
It's I don't think, it's too small again to get a nom at any of the award show, but I just want to shout it out. I love Katie Green. I love what she's doing in the recent year. Go watch The Assistant. It's also one of my favorite of that year when it came out. Recommend The Royal Hotel. Shout out to How to Blow Up a Pipeline.
So obviously that's like in a weird also 2022, 2023, so that's why it wasn't on my radar here. And even though that would be like one of my favorites, I don't know if I'd like nominate that for Best Picture. Like if it was like a JJ Awards, then it'd totally be on there. But for the Golden Globes, I don't know if I would. But one of my favorites of last year, if it is like a last year film, it's a very JJ movie, if you know me.
Right. One of the things that it's not a shout out. I do love Priscilla. I do really like Priscilla. I think it's the better Elvis movie that came out the past 2 years, couple years. The better one.
I actually don't know what I like more.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yeah.
All of Us Strangers. I haven't seen it, but just want to shout that out. Maybe it will be good. I don't know. Ferrari, also another one you've seen that I haven't seen yet.
Very good. I don't know if I'd nominate it, but I loved it. Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to your movie that you're also very that we talked about quite a lot over the year, Landscape with Invisible Hands. I think it's just funny.
Wait, what?
I'm not. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, there's the joke. You got
and
me.
the cinematic masterpiece of the year, Gran Turismo, based on a true story.
Yes, you have to say the whole title like that.
Yeah,
you can't just say Gran Turismo. You have to say Gran Turismo based on a true story.
The biggest snub of the year. I cannot believe they didn't nominate the Gran Turismo based on a true story movie.
I am not. I think it's fine. Well, obviously you think it's fine, but like too much fine. Like it's just like so. I think you called it soulless.
Yeah, Gran Turismo is soulless. It's definitely one of the movies ever made, and if not, definitely this decade.
It is one of the movies ever made. I agree.
Honestly,
shout out the creator.
Oh yeah,
did you forget about the creator?
I did not.
That happened.
So let's talk about the nominations and some of what of our favorites and what do we want to lock in, and then we'll close out this episode. I think my favorite out of all of these, even though I haven't seen two of them, it's in between Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon. I've been pretty consistent.
Sorry, what are the two you haven't seen?
Anatomy of a Fall and The Zone of Interest.
Right,
which
right.
I feel like, every single year, my favorite film tends to be that one foreign film.
That's true.
And yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen when I eventually watch them, but right now, it's in between Killers of the Flower Moon and Oppenheimer for me. I think Oppenheimer is going to take the win on this one.
Mm-hmm.
For the sake of it, I'm gonna go with Killers of the Flower Moon because I'm still thinking about it. I'm thinking about it more than I think about Oppenheimer. Yeah.
Wow, your award show would be like, if your picks happen, that'd be crazy. Like if Oppenheimer takes all of these ones, but then Picture ends up being Killers of the Flower Moon, that'd be crazy.
Just for the sake of it, I'm gonna go with Killers of the Flower Moon when it comes to my favorite. Even though I think I would enjoy Oppenheimer more down the road. Yeah. And also, I love Nolan. I know it's like a very film bro thing to say, but I love Scorsese too.
Mm-hmm. Which is also a very film bro thing to say. So you're kind of stuck there.
Wow, I guess I can't win.
Yeah, you can't win here. No, that's why. And you haven't seen the foreign films.
Yeah. Oops. Oh shit. I don't want to read the subtitles, guide. It's just too distracting. Too much work. Yeah. But I think you also kind of agree that like every year some of my favorite films tend to be the foreign ones. So I'm interested.
Oh, would you consider what's a snub?
What?
Because I don't know if you'd consider this a 2022 or 2023 film. Skinamarink for Best Picture. That'd be hilarious. Because you can't nominate it for anything else. You can't nominate that for actor.
My God.
Imagine it's just got a Best Picture.
Best cinematography.
Best cinematography, Skinamarink.
Man, that would be in our list, in our award show.
Would it actually be in your award show?
No, it would not be on mine, but it would be on yours. It would be on yours.
It would be on mine. Not for cinematography, because everyone listening, you can go shoot Skinamarink yourself right now at home. But that's shout out to that. Shout out to Skinamarink. Oh, do I go now for Best Picture?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Obviously enjoyed all of these. My favorite. It's. I've just been rewatching clips of it recently too. Like, it's got to be Oppenheimer for my favorite of the year so far. I was really hoping something else would be my favorite because it's just like, damn, like Christopher Nolan's still he's still killing it. But honestly, good for Nolan. He's still evolving as an artist, and I was really impressed. Like, walking out of Oppenheimer, I didn't think he had a movie like that, honestly, up his sleeve. To have no set piece to really like lay back on, like in terms of like an action set piece. So I was really impressed by that. And it's going to be my pick. Since you're going with Killers of the Flower Moon, I might as well just take Oppenheimer since it's right there. If there was any year for him to win, it would be this one. So yeah, but I definitely recommend all these films. If you haven't seen any of them, to anyone listening as well, like these are great movies. It's been a really great year.
Yeah. So we're both locked in on Oppenheimer.
No, you said Killers of the Flower Moon.
No, Killers of the Flower Moon is my for the sake of it, for favorite.
Oh, but you're not picking it for
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So we both locking in on Oppenheimer. Yeah. I totally agree with you. We went through Barbenheimer together. We walked out pretty much feeling the same way, that we didn't like expect there's a movie in Nolan like this. So it was definitely a surprise for me when we watched it. We watched it in one of the few true IMAX theater in the United States together, and that was quite an experience. I loved it. After that, in a couple of days, I went back to an AMC theater to watch it, and it was just not the same. I was actually surprised how much of a difference there is.
That's true. Yeah,
they're like a true 35 through 70 millimeter IMAX versus something you would get in a normal theater. It's just the difference is light and day for me.
Yeah, I've seen Oppenheimer in 3 different formats. So I saw it IMAX 70 millimeter, then I saw it in a Dolby screen, and then I saw it in plain 70 millimeter. And obviously, like, just the way the aspect ratio changes to the IMAX, it's just such a psychological effect. But like before, like watching like The Dark Knight Rises or something in IMAX, it's kind of like, oh, they had to switch back to a normal camera for this because for some reason, they couldn't get the IMAX or whatever. But whenever it switched in Oppenheimer, it really felt like intentional. Like, it's like, oh, now this is like, now we're here. Like, it really felt like a huge an impact psychologically. Like, boom, we're now shooting in IMAX, and it really just made that experience like unlike anything else I've seen this year, for sure.
I gotta say, I kind of agree with you when it comes to like, I'm hoping that I will see something better than Oppenheimer ever since I saw it. But I'm also kind of glad that so far, I think Oppenheimer is definitely top tier for me of the year. And I feel like a lot of the times I wasn't able to say that. when it comes to Christopher Nolan movie, because I always find something better in the following couple months. But this time, I think he's got it. I think he definitely has a chance to finally get all of those awards that he is overdue with. So do you have more to say? If not, we can close out this episode.
Do you want me to speed run the TV category?
Oh yeah, I forgot. I totally fucking forgot. I'm not a TV person. I haven't seen any of these guys. So you're the TV person here. Let's speed run it. Let's go.
Okay, I'm on Best TV Series Drama. I've seen The Crown. If it's talking about season 5 and not the newest one. So yeah, I don't know what season they're on. That's the thing. And I've seen The Last of Us. But I think Succession's going to win for that. But yeah, of my favorites of these would probably be The Crown, just because that's like, The Crown is like a soap opera. And I think it's TV's best soap opera. A lot of fun. A snub. I don't know if Better Call Saul's even qualifies for this year anymore, but they're getting Emmy nominations still, so would have liked to see that there. I think since you said you've loved courtroom dramas, I think you'd love Better Call Saul. I think you should give that a chance. Best TV series, musical or comedy. I've seen almost all of these. I've seen Abbott Elementary, I've seen Barry, I've seen The Bear, and I've seen Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso was an absolute disaster this year for its third and final season. But okay. I recommend you watch Ted Lasso as a football fan. I think the first season is fantastic. Definitely recommend. I think The Bear will win this, and it is, that last season has been like one of my favorite seasons of television I've ever watched. Season 2 of The Bear, and I've been saying it, The Bear season 2 is kind of like Ted Lasso, where it's like a person going into like a toxic environment and like changing it for the better. So I think there's like similarities that way, and it's like a very positive like type of thing to see from television. But Abbott Elementary and Barry are also great shows. Definitely recommend. Next category, limited series. I actually haven't seen any of these. Have you seen Beef? I thought you saw Beef.
No, I haven't seen any of these. I have seen like Barry when it first came out, like the first 2 seasons. I watched that. I watched a couple of episodes of Abbott Elementary, but that's as far as my like TV knowledge goes. I haven't seen any of these.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to keep up with all these. It's like the voters, like, what are you, like, how, like, there's no way they've seen everything,
Yeah.
So it's kind of like these TV ones, it's like who they want to invite to their show. Yeah, so I haven't seen any of these limited series, but obviously I hear Beef is really good. Best performance by a female actor in a television series, drama. I think Succession will probably sweep this year, so Sarah Snook's probably winning that one.
You don't think Emma Stone is gonna double fist the Golden Globes this year?
That'd be crazy if she did. That'd be cool. I haven't seen The Curse. I've heard mixed things, but in like a good way too. It's like it makes you uncomfortable in a good way, or like not in a good way, but it's just very good at making you uncomfortable. For male actor, look at the 3 Succession nominees. Probably Jeremy Strong.
First Succession, or the second Succession guy, or the third Succession guy.
I'm going middle Succession guy. You haven't seen any of Succession?
No, I've only seen the L to the OG scene.
Okay, well, just for that, Jeremy Strong's gonna win best performance. I actually haven't seen Succession either. Musical or comedy, female actor. This is good. I think Ayo's gonna win. Actually, what they give it to her is kind of young. Like, I feel like at this rate, they like give it to like a more established actor. So I'm gonna say Quinta Brunson actually wins for
interesting
this category. Yeah,
she is good in it. She is good.
I like Abbott Elementary. Yeah. Male actor in a television, musical, or comedy. Ooh, damn, this one's tough. I'd give it to Jeremy Allen White though, and I think he is gonna win. It seems to be his year with that and the Iron Claw. Have you seen the Iron Claw? That's one we haven't mentioned all episode.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I haven't seen it. Yeah.
That's probably a snub for a lot of people for drama. So
Possibly.
There you go. Shout out to the Iron Claw.
Yeah. Shout out to the Iron Claw. Also, like, speaking of Jeremy Allen White, shout out to Little Indie came out this year. Fingernails. He's also it's a great little indie that talks about love and all these.
Is that
silly
the
things.
Jesse Buckley Riz Ahmed movie?
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Oh, he's in that too? I need to go see it. What?
Yeah,
Those are like some of my favorite actors. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cute. I think it did run long a little bit for the movie. It's a good little indie. It's a great watch, about human connections and relationships and all these like little stupid and silly things that we use to define love and intimacy, and how we like to put so much importance into them when it sometimes doesn't really matter. Go watch Fingernails. Shout out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Glad we got to mention that. Cool. Next category, female actor in a limited series, and all these other categories. Obviously, I haven't seen any of these. I think Ali Wong will win for Beef, but I heard Riley Keough, I don't know how to say her last name, is really good in Daisy Jones.
Okay.
Actor in a limited series, I will also go like Steven Yeun for Beef.
Interesting.
Female actor in a supporting role on television. These I've seen more than half of these. I haven't seen Succession, obviously, and Only Murders in the Building. I love Christina Ricci's performance in Yellow Jackets. I don't think the show's that great, but she's so good in it. It's such a fun performance to watch. Shout out to Elizabeth Debicki in The Crown. Perfect casting for Diana. And shout out Tenet, obviously. I think Succession's probably going to win this too, though, for J. Smith Cameron.
It's a Succession year.
Yeah, it is a Succession year. And I will also pick... Oh, wait! But I won't pick Succession for supporting actor here. I'm going to pick Ibn Mas Bachar? I don't know how to say his last name. I just butchered that. But for The Bear. Incredible. I hope they give him this. That'd be so cool if they give him this win.
It's going to win over all the Succession guys.
My hope is like the Succession fans vote, like they split up their vote, and The Bear ends up winning. I think that'd be really cool. Okay. And then have you seen any of these stand-up comic specials? I have not.
I've only seen Selective Outrage, and it wasn't really good.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah,
I don't know who's going to win this one. I'll give it to Trevor Noah.
I'll give it to Sarah Silverman.
There you go.
Yeah, completely.
All right,
just
we did
bullshitting
it
right now.
That should be the tiebreaker. If we're tied, that should be what's
sure. All right, yeah, that was fun. Thank you, JJ from the Silver Hour Film Club for being on the first episode. I got a lot of editing to do, I guess. Anything you wanna plug? Wanna talk about?
Well, yeah, the Silver Hour Film Club. We talk about movies, any kind of movies. Howard is our latest guest. We talk about Playtime. That's the latest episode that came out. You can find us on Spotify. Please rate us 5 stars. I also have a Letterboxd, obviously. JO7, the number 7 film. Find me on there if you want to see my opinions on that. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. By the time this episode comes out, the Silver Hour Film Club episode that we did will already be out, right? It's going to be out tomorrow morning. We talked about Playtime. It's one of my favorite films of all time, and go check that out. Go check out the episode. I also have a Letterboxd. It's YepitsHoward, and I'm going to post this on my YouTube channel, so people should already know if anyone is watching. So yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll see who wins the Golden Globes award.
Yes.
Ballot.
And the winner who will get $1 billion and a Golden Globe.
Yeah, the winner, you could win $1 billion.
You actually win the rights to Gran Turismo based on a true story. Like the movie belongs to you if you.
Yeah, because he was a gamer. Now he's a racist.
Cut that out, please. I want to be cut out of that.